Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Honghuang. My Yuding disciple, will cause chaos in the heavenly palace. The heaven is in chaos, and the jade tripod is the final say. Crossing the wilderness, becoming a jade cauldron, bound to a divine-level apprenticeship system, as long as the apprentice breaks through their cultivation, they can obtain 10 times, 100 times, and 10,000 times the critical strike rebate. Take Yang Jian as his disciple. Yang Jian will kill his uncle and old cousin with each bite and axe, and go to the heavenly court. Take Sun Wukong as his disciple. Sun Wukong steps on the underworld, grabs the East China Sea, and causes chaos in the heavenly palace. Take in Daji. Accepting the disciple NezhaYears later. Sages. Jade Ding, let's discuss it well. We have already passed the journey to the west. Can you stop accepting disciples? The heavenly court has just been renovated, and the looting continues. Yuding. You told me earlier. I just received a disciple named WutianFeilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 1. Yuquan Mountain, Yuding Immortal. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yuquan Mountain. Jinxia Cave. A figure sat cross-legged, emitting a majestic aura all around. Suddenly, the figure woke up and opened its eyes to look into the surrounding space. What is this? Yang, who opened his eyes, found himself in a pitch-black cave, with the only thing in front of him being a blazing furnace. Sleeping trough. Did you get kidnapped? But just thinking about it, it's impossible. I'm all poor, who would kidnap me when I'm full? It's not like being kidnapped. Where are you? Just as he was about to stand up and check where he was, a burst of memory fragments flooded into his mind. Ah! Massive memory fragments surged out, causing him a headache to explode. I don't know how long it has been. Yang opened his eyes again. At this moment, his heart was filled with both fear and excitement. Because after reading this memory fragment, he discovered that he had actually come to the world of the wilderness. There is no mistake, it is the legendary world of the wilderness, which is now the era after the witches and before the sealing of the divine realm. And his identity is also among the top group. His identity is that of the Jade Tripod Immortal, one of the 12 golden immortals of Taoism. This identity can be said to be truly powerful. The sage personally passed down his disciples. With this golden signboard, who doesn't give him face? Although I don't know why I crossed the wilderness and even lost the Jade Ding Immortal for rebirth, since fate has given me such an opportunity, he naturally wants to seize it well. From then on, there will be no more Yang, only the Honghuang Jade Ding Immortal. An idea arises. In an instant, an invisible suppressive force completely disappeared from him. Yuding understood that this must be the path of the underworld. After all, he was a descendant, considered a stowaway, but now he has an ID card. Through memory, Yuding learned that his current cultivation was in the early stage of the Golden Immortal. In the world of the wilderness, cultivation levels are divided into Human Immortal, Earth Immortal, Heavenly Immortal, True Immortal, Xian, Jingxian, Taiyi Jingxian, Daoyuo Jingxian, Zhuansheng, and Hunyuan Daoyuo Jingxian. Jin Xian is also considered a master in this era. After all, this is the era of deities, no longer the era of witches and demons. Gold immortals are not as good as dogs, and the world is full of golden immortals. And his ultimate treasure is only a slaying immortal sword, a lower-level innate spiritual treasure. Among the 12 golden immortals, it can also be considered at the middle level. Yuding Junior Brother. Yuding Junior Brother. At this moment, suddenly, a figure sounded from outside the Jinxia cave and entered the cave. Upon hearing this sound, Immortal Yuding stood up and walked outside. Only 1 or 2 people were able to call out to his junior apprentice. Upon arriving outside, Yuding discovered a middle-aged man exuding a powerful aura. It's him. Guanjiangkou. The head of the 12 golden immortals in elucidation. He is also the first disciple of Yuan Shi Tianzun sitting down. Cultivation is also a trend of entering the later stage of the great Luo golden immortal. Even under the Sanqing sect, one can still be considered an upper-class person. I don't know what he came to do with himself. Yuding thought to himself and then approached Guanjiangkou, bowing. Have you met senior brother Guanjiangkou? I wonder what happened when you suddenly visited, senior brother. Yuding has a relatively good relationship among the disciples of the Chan sect. However, very few people come to his dojo, and this is Guanjiangkou's first time here, so he also has some doubts about why Guanjiangkou suddenly came to his door. Yuding junior brother came to see you today, as instructed by the master, asking you to quickly go to the Yuxu palace. Guanjiangkou replied to the Jade Cauldron. At the same time, he also wondered why the master suddenly asked Yuding to go to Yuxu palace. Master, are you looking for me? Yuding was also taken aback when he heard Guanjiangkou reveal the situation. I was summoned by the primordial heavenly sovereign just after crossing over. I wonder if I would recognize my identity as a traveler. It's impossible not to go there. So. Hard scalp. Yuding followed Guanjiangkou to Yuxu palace. Not for a while. They came to the Jade Void Palace. Descend in front of the Jade Void Palace. Junior brother, hurry inside. Guanjiangkou looked at the jade tripod, finished speaking, and then disappeared in front of the gate of the Yuxu palace. Who? Yuding took a deep breath and then walked into the Yuxu palace. 2. System added. Primordial Heavenly Sovereign gives treasure. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Slowly entering the Jade Void Palace, a feeling of unprecedented grandeur rushed towards me. The vastness permeated the Jade Void Palace, and the Jade Ding felt as if it were in endless chaos. The world is infinite and vast, and I am like a speck of dust in the Jade Void Palace. He looked up at the figure sitting on top of the futon, wearing a plain robe. The boundless divine light falls, and the melody of the Tao flutters. Twinkles of chaotic energy entwined around the Supreme Being, where he was located, as distant as the sky, a vast expanse of chaos, the void blurring. The profound Tao rhyme permeated behind him, and although the sage's breath repeatedly restrained, it still made the jade tripod feel like facing the heavenly abyss. A great road emitting infinite and supreme power is faintly visible, exuding supreme authority. Within the Jade Void Palace, a profound aura permeates everywhere. And in that person who exists all around, the river of time is long and flowing, and countless beings have lived for eternity, but in this moment of his life. This is the highest and greatest sage, immortal and immortal. Yuding felt some emotion in his heart. In front of the sages, all living beings are as insignificant as dust and humble as ants. This is the gap in the level of life, just a glance is enough to shake his mind. Later, Yuding fell deeply to the ground and said, Disciple Yuding, pay respects to Master. To be honest, Yuding felt a bit flustered in her heart. After all, he is not a real jade tripod, but rather an impostor who traveled through this place. He is facing an omniscient and invincible sage. If the sage sees through, then he is really finished. Therefore, although he bowed respectfully, his heart was uneasy. From the height of the Jade Void Palace, the chaotic aura permeated, and amidst endless clarity, the supreme sage slowly opened his eyes. In an instant, there were countless divine lights, and the charm of the Tao rose and fell. As if the ultimate truth of the universe is only in his eyes. Jade Ding, there is a lifelong spirit in the human world that has a master-disciple relationship with you. You are here to take this person as your disciple. Remember, this son has a great connection with my preaching, it is the future of my preaching, and it is related to my preaching career. Don't take it lightly. Saints have a constitutional reputation and always cherish words like gold. But that living creature in the human world could make him so careful in instructing the Jade Cauldron. I believe that creature is not an ordinary person either. The Jade Tripod has a clear understanding. It seems that the disciple that the master asked him to go down the world to collect is Yang Jian and Yang Erlang. In the future, the vanguard official of the Western Qi expedition against the Shang dynasty, who became a saint with his physical body, was in charge of the heavenly stick and the heavenly law, and was a generation of war gods. He was the true ruler of the Qingyuan Miao Dao. He is also the legitimate nephew of the Jade Emperor, who now holds the throne of the Heavenly Emperor in the 33 heavens and controls the entire flood and wasteland. Ding! At this moment, a clear sound suddenly came from Yuding's ear. Congratulations, Master. The apprenticeship system has been activated. Yuding was taken aback for a moment, followed by surprise and joy floating in his heart. The apprenticeship system. This seems to be my own golden finger. Sure enough, what is said in the novel is true, and the golden finger is a standard accessory for travelers. I just don't know what functions my apprenticeship system has. For a moment, Yuding was overjoyed by the arrival of the golden finger and forgot that she was still in the Yuxu palace, wanting to explore the truth. However, after the chaotic energy, the primordial heavenly lord frowned faintly. Jade Ding, he spoke again, are you willing? Yuding also regained his senses at this moment, realizing that he was too proud and forgot to answer his master. Therefore, he sank his mind and spoke without hesitation, I am here. I am willing to go. Not to mention that Yang Jian was originally his disciple in the original work of Fengshen. Even if Yang Jian had no connection with him as a master disciple, he had to find a way to take Yang Jian as his disciple. After the 3 realms of Fengshen Liangjie, the sage leaves and the great power returns to seclusion. Apart from the 2 supreme beings, the Jade Emperor and the future Tathagata, who wield a massive power on their side, Yang Jian is also among the frequently appearing immortals in the first sequence. The 3 realms god of war in the future. How could such a disciple give up to others? Moreover, in the future, Yang Jian will be related to the 2 major qi and fortune tribulations of Fengshen and westward journey. Even for the sake of preaching, he must not give Yang Jian to anyone else. The most important thing is that I now have an additional apprenticeship system. Although he is not quite sure what this system actually does. But just by the name, you can probably tell that it is definitely related to accepting apprentices. Yang Jian is a high-quality disciple and cannot be let go for nothing. Good. Yuanshi Tianzuan nodded in satisfaction and then waved his sleeve. From his broad plain cloud sleeve, a spiritual treasure flew out, emitting a hazy and boundless radiance, with endless immortal spiritual energy lingering around. It's just a lamp. A glass jade lamp. The Jade Ding recognizes this treasure and is one of the treasures of the Jade Void Palace, the Jade Void Glass Lamp. This treasure belongs to the heavenly sage Yuanshi Tianzun, and is the first among the 3 lanterns of heaven, earth, and man. The 3 lanterns of heaven, earth, and man are the sky lantern Jade Void Glass Lantern, the ground lantern 8 Scenes Palace Lantern, and the man lantern Coffin Lantern. The Jade Void Glass Lamp can be considered powerful among the innate spiritual treasures, much stronger than the Jade Cauldron's own slaying immortal sword. The vast and grand voice of Yuanshi Tianzuan slowly rang out again. This is a Jade Void Glass Lamp, with a golden flame inside, named Wanling Yi. This flame has the ability to explore all spirits. 3. The system is turned on to receive rewards. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thank you very much, Master. Suddenly obtaining such a spiritual treasure, Yuding naturally felt delighted in her heart. You should know that this is an innate spiritual treasure, which can attract countless Taiyi gene immortals and even the Luo gene immortals to break their heads and compete in the wilderness. But now, this treasure that can make countless great beings jealous belongs to him, this little golden immortal. Originally, he only had one inferior innate spiritual treasure himself, but now he suddenly has a powerful innate spiritual treasure. For him, his combat power has been increased again. This is the advantage of backing against a big tree. There is no need to worry about martial arts, spiritual treasures, and elixirs. Naturally, a master will prepare them for oneself. Yuding felt a little fortunate in his heart. Fortunately he crossed over to Yuding. If I travel through time and become a casual cultivator, then I really have no place to cry. Go ahead, don't forget my teacher's instructions. Yes. Yuding nodded respectfully, then turned around and left the Yuxu palace. Behind him, the gaze of Yuanshi Tianzuan fell calmly. Countless clear air shrouded in mist. Today's jade tripod seemed somewhat different. Yuding had just stepped out of the gate of the Yuxu palace, and not far away, he met a clear and hale figure from afar. Senior brother. Yuding was pondering about the system and didn't notice the arrival of anyone for a moment. At this moment, he heard someone calling out his senior brother, and then he looked up at the person who had come. Honghuang. That's right, the clear and hale figure in front of him is the Yellow Dragon Immortal, who is also the legitimate disciple of the Yuanshi Heavenly Lord and one of the 12 Golden Immortals. However, although the Yellow Dragon Immortal is also the legitimate disciple of the Chan sect and the true disciple who listens to teachings in the Yuxu Palace. But compared to others, it is more than 1 point behind. It can be said that the Yellow Dragon Immortal is definitely the most pitiful among the 12 Golden Immortals. Because Honghuang Zhenren has a nickname. For no Taoists. Without strength, no disciples, no brains, never achieved success. This is the Yellow Dragon Immortal. As disciples personally passed down by Yuanshi Tianzuan, Guanjiangkou, Yuding, and Taiyi were able to receive treasures and were carefully cultivated by Yuanshi Tianzuan. However, the Yellow Dragon Immortal was covered in tatters and had no treasures to hold. In fact, this is also somewhat related to his background. Honghuang Zhenren comes from the Dragon clan. However, Yuanshi Tianzun has always looked down upon the demon race, and even angrily accused them of being all those who wet their eggs with fur and horns. Although for some unknown reason, he would take Honghuang, who came from the demon tribe, as his disciple. However, despite this, Honghuang did not receive any attention from Yuanshi Tianzun. Yuanshi Tianzuan has always allowed him to live and die on his own, without any concern. Not only that, because the heavenly sovereign of Yuanshi did not like the Yellow Dragon Immortal, his fellow disciples in the field of hermeneutics also had little interaction with him on a regular basis, consciously distancing themselves from him. Only Yuding, who has a gentle and low-key temperament, and Taiyi, who has always been enthusiastic and kind-hearted, have a good relationship with him. Only Yuding and Taiyi, as well as Honghuang, can be considered friends in the entire elucidation. Honghuang was somewhat surprised when he saw the Jade Cauldron. You should know that Yuding has always been low-key, and usually meditates and practices in the Jinxia Cave Dojo on Yuquan Mountain, rarely going out. Today, unexpectedly appeared in the Jade Void Palace. This is quite unusual. Honghuang asked with some confusion, "Senior brother, why are you in the Jade Void Palace?" Yuding naturally spoke frankly, "Master called me here to give orders." "Oh, I see. Then junior brother won't disturb senior brother." Speaking, Honghuang bowed and bid farewell. However, as he walked, he was still pondering. What does master arrange for Jade Ding to do? If a master usually asks Guanjiangkou to do anything, why did he summon Yuding, who has always been low-key and dislikes public appearances, today? He pondered, but in his spare time, he caught a glimpse of another figure. "Junior brother, walk slowly." Yuding turned around and swept straight towards his dojo. Finally, after arriving at the Jinxia cave in the distant mountains, the jade tripod sat on the ground. Turn on the system. Through the investigation just now, he has understood. Although this system has already been loaded into one's own body, it still needs to be opened by oneself. As his voice fell, the system began to start on its own. Time passed by minute by second, and soon the system was successfully turned on. Congratulations, Master. The apprenticeship system has been successfully activated. Yuding quickly asked his doubts and said, "Tell me, what's the use of your apprenticeship system?" The apprenticeship system allows the owner to receive rewards and improve themselves as long as they continuously recruit disciples. Yuding's eyes lit up. This system sounds good, and you don't need to do anything by yourself. As long as you recruit, you can receive rewards. You should know that before the sealing of the divine realm, many talented creatures had not yet emerged or were still in a weak stage. He can definitely bring in those creatures with extraordinary talents. In this way, not only can he accept a large number of disciples of talented demons, but he can also receive systematic rewards and continuously strengthen himself. Sounds like a good idea. Ding, congratulations to the Master. Successfully opened the system and received a newbie reward. In the eyes of the Jade Tripod, a joyful expression permeated. There is indeed a reward for beginners, but I don't know what the reward is. Congratulations, Master. You have received a reward of Taiyi Dan. Congratulations to the Master, you have obtained a spiritual treasure level enhancement coupon. 4. Break through the Taiyi Golden Immortal. Jade Cauldron enters the world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Taiyi Dan. Lingbao level upgrade coupon. Taiyi Dan can be promoted to Taiyi Jin Xian after taking it. Lingbao level upgrade coupon, can upgrade Lingbao level. Yuding's eyes lit up and he instantly understood the preciousness of these two rewards. The promotion of Jingxian to Taiyi Jingxian has always been a natural barrier. I don't know how many creatures are trapped in front of this heavenly barrier, making it difficult for them to reach the realm of Taiyi for life. Although the Jade Cauldron is personally passed down by a sage, there is no need to worry about not being able to advance to the realm of Taiyi Golden Immortal. However, even so, he is still in the Golden Immortal realm, and there is still some distance between him and the Taiyi Golden Immortal. Unexpectedly, the system gave itself a Taiyi Dan directly. This actually saves Yuding a lot of hard work. And there is also the Lingbao level upgrade coupon. This thing is more precious for treasures of higher grade. Lower grade innate spiritual treasures can be upgraded to mid-grade innate spiritual treasures, but what about top-quality innate spiritual treasures? If you can also successfully upgrade, it would be an innate treasure. For a moment, Yuding's heart began to twitch uncontrollably. These two rewards are definitely treasures. After thinking for a moment, he decided to take the Taiyi pill first to promote himself to the Taiyi Golden Immortal. As for the Lingbao level promotion voucher, it will be put aside for now and discussed later. Subsequently, the ancient and clumsy-shaped pill with simple patterns and a faint fairy-like aura was swallowed by the Jade Tripod in one gulp. The pure medicinal power quickly began to wander within the body of Yuding, washing away his limbs and bones. Subsequently, the ethereal aura of Immortals began to permeate around the Jade Cauldron, enveloping the Taoist spirit. A powerful aura enveloped the entire Yuquan mountain. On Mount Yuquan, a powerful aura hangs down. The momentum of the weather is brewing at the top of Yuquan mountain, the clouds are stagnant, and time and space are condensed. At this moment, two figures appeared outside Yuquan mountain. One of them was wearing a yellow robe, with a clear and thin face. The other person was wearing a plain-colored Taoist robe, with a graceful and dusty face. It was the Yellow Dragon Immortal who had previously met with the Jade Ding, as well as the Taiyi Immortal, another legitimate descendant of the Yuanshi Heavenly Emperor and also ranked among the 12 Golden Immortals. Taiyi senior brother, let's have a good discussion with Yuding senior brother today. Originally, after Huanglong Zhenren and Yuding met outside the Yuxu Palace, they met Taiyi Zhenren. Taiyi Zhenren has never been fond of tranquility. He happened to want to come out and explore, and he happened to want to find Yuding Zhenren. But on the way, I met the Yellow Dragon Immortal. The two exchanged pleasantries. Taiyi Zhenren said he wants to talk to senior brother Yuding about his teachings. And Honghuang also felt a bit itchy in his heart. He was mainly curious about what the master was looking for with the Jade Ding, so he said to go together. That's why the two of them came together to Jinsha Cave on Yuquan Mountain. Taiyi nodded and looked towards Yuquan Mountain. Immediately after, he was taken aback, and then a hint of joy appeared on his face. He sensed the powerful aura inside Yuquan Mountain, which was not owned by Jin Xian. Honghuang Zhenren also felt the lingering horror brewing within Yuquan Mountain. Is this Yuding's senior brother breaking through the Taiyi realm? No wonder Honghuang was surprised. When the two parted ways recently, the Jade Ding was only in the realm of the Golden Immortal. Nowadays, in the blink of an eye, it's about to break through the Taiyi Golden Immortal. Everyone feels like they're dreaming. You truly deserve to be senior brother Yuding, you are truly a demon. Honghuang swallowed these words and patiently waited with Taiyi outside Yuquan Mountain for the jade tripod to break through. Quickly, from within Yuquan Mountain, a burst of energy exploded, and terrifying waves piled up layer by layer, spreading like a tide. A beam of divine light rose up from the sky, heading straight towards the bullfight. The layers of clouds on the sky that have not yet dispersed have been shattered by this terrifying divine light. Rui Ai Qian Dao, Xia Guang Wan Li. The Taiyi Golden Immortal Realm has been established. Inside Yuquan Mountain, Yuding slowly opened her eyes. In his eyes, a myriad of enchanting divine lights flashed by. Immediately after, a wisp of chaotic energy slowly emerged. Taiyi is the origin of the Tao. Stepping into this realm, one can obtain a strand of primordial chaos energy. He slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air, with a hint of joy on his face. Finally, we have broken through the realm of Taiyi Golden Immortal. At this moment, two figures entered the Jinsha Cave. Congratulations to senior brother for breaking through the Taiyi Golden Immortal realm. Yuding looked up and saw Taiyi and Honghuang. He smiled slightly and said, I wonder why the two junior brothers are here. Taiyi bluntly said, junior brother wants to discuss the Tao with senior brother. I'm the same. Welcome to the extreme. Yuding himself has just broken through the Taiyi Golden Immortal realm, and it was only through drug use that he broke through. Therefore, it is time to stabilize his realm. Discussing Tao with Taiyi and Honghuang helps him stabilize his realm in a short period of time. As for the issue of identity exposure, he is not at all worried. Even the heavenly way sage Yuanshi Tianzuan cannot be seen, let alone Taiyi and Honghuang. So, the three of them sat together like three talents and began to discuss the Tao. Blossoming golden lotus flowers, the ethereal aura of immortality permeates the entire Jinsha cave. After an unknown amount of time, the discourse came to an end. Both Taiyi and Honghuang have gained something, and as for Yuding, he has successfully stabilized his realm and become a true Taiyi Golden Immortal. Later, Taiyi and Honghuang bid farewell, and Yuding also left Yuquan Mountain and went to the mortal world. He is going to find the disciple he was destined to be, Yang Jian. 5. Go down the mountain and encounter treasures, give me a jade tripod to save face. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The jade tripod was dressed in a plain-colored Taoist robe, with long hair held in a hairpin that was not made of stone or jade. With her feet on the auspicious clouds, she floated like an immortal, and her whole body was full of ethereal aura. Anyone who looks at it must say that they have achieved enlightenment. After leaving Yuquan Mountain, he galloped all the way, preparing to go to Guanjiangkou to pick up his disciple Yang Jian. However, not long after leaving Yuquan Mountain. In the air ahead, a path of auspicious mist rises, and precious light permeates. The rich fairy spirit energy condenses in the air, enduring for a long time, and even about to converge into a lucky cloud. Yuding's eyes froze and looked towards that place. This place is shining with precious light, and the aura of immortality lingers. There must be treasures born. At present, he changed his mind. It's not too late to pick up Yang Jian after receiving this treasure first. So, the jade tripod turned its direction and floated down. On the mountain peak, there are already figures gathering and moving. Figures sit or stand quietly, waiting for the birth of this treasure. At first glance, the entire mountain peak was already covered in human figures. Among them, there are some powerful beings with strong breath. However, Yuding did not hesitate at all and continued to land directly. A powerful aura suddenly descended on the mountain peak, and the wind hunted, but it bypassed the Jade Cauldron on its own. Its clothes, robes, and hair tips were never blown. The powerful aura of the Taiyi golden immortal realm enveloped, suffocating the sentient beings on the mountain peak when they were in a trance. Then, they all looked up at the figure that had just descended. Some are thin and not considered great, but they emit a terrifying aura that makes it impossible for them to breathe. Yuding has been worshipped by the Yuanshi heavenly master for countless years, and naturally some people recognize him. When even someone is surprised to speak up. Jade tripod. They look surprised and horrified, obviously not expecting that this unborn treasure would even attract the legitimate lineage of the Chan sect. Unfortunately, the legitimate disciples under the throne of the primordial heavenly sovereign of the canon of enlightenment actually had the same interest in the same treasure as them. Knowing the presence of Yuding's followers was already full of frustration, and even prepared to turn around and leave. But not everyone knows the identity of Yuding. Despite sensing the powerful aura on Yuding's body, some people still unconsciously stepped forward to provoke. Who are you? How dare you be so reckless? As soon as he said this, his chin suddenly fell out of shock. Many people who knew the identity of Yuding moved aside slightly, afraid of being affected by Yuding's anger. Other creatures, although not clear about the identity of the Jade Cauldron, could also sense its terrifying aura and avoided it one after another. Everyone looked at the creature with a silly expression on their faces. A tiger demon from the later stage of the Golden Immortal. Yuding just glanced lightly before moving his gaze away. This guy can't even catch his eye. He looked towards the source where the infinite treasure light emanated. Under the vast golden light, it is a spiritual medicine. A congenital elixir with a strong fairy-like aura lingering around. Although not a well-known innate spiritual root, it can still be considered a good spiritual medicine in today's era. Not bad. Yuding nodded. He needs to take this elixir. The tiger demon saw that the Jade Cauldron ignored him as he was looking at the treasure, and immediately became furious. Good kid, how dare you ignore me? Then, the tiger demon's forehead was as red as blood, and its intimidating aura erupted, directly charging towards the jade tripod. Jinxian late stage. Someone turned pale in shock. I didn't expect this tiger demon to be so powerful. However, Yuding didn't even turn around, just gently waved his sleeve. Suddenly, terrifying magic surged out and hit the tiger demon directly. The tiger demon flew backwards extremely decisively, landing heavily on the ground, leaving a deep pit on the ground. Then, with a tilt of his head, he passed out in a coma. Immediately after, the Jade Ding no longer restrained its aura and unleashed its terrifying aura belonging to the Taiyi golden immortal recklessly. Everyone sensed the terrifying aura and couldn't help but feel scalp tingling and sweat exploding all over their bodies. This is a genuine Taiyi golden immortal. Dare to provoke this existence, that overestimated tiger demon has set an example for them. For a moment, the elegant sparrows on the mountain peak were silent, leaving only the sound of hunting wind. Yuding glanced over and knew that the one with the highest cultivation among these creatures was just a golden immortal. And for these people, the realm of his Taiyi Jin Xian is overwhelming. Therefore, he spoke directly. I, the Jade Cauldron Immortal of Yuquan Mountain, have taken this item. Please give me a thin face and leave now. Yuquan Mountain Yuding Immortal. That's the legitimate disciple of the heavenly way sage Yuanshi Tianzuan. Everyone just realized now. No wonder it's so powerful. So confident and fearless. Turns out he's actually a disciple of a saint. There is someone who exists, and they simply cannot obtain this elixir. Everyone had no choice but to leave. Yuding relied on the ability of face-saving fruit to successfully persuade the vast majority of competitors. Just as everyone was preparing to leave, and Yuding was also preparing to pick the innate elixir. A proud and unparalleled voice echoed through the entire mountain peak. "What are you, Jade Cauldron? I want this item." The arrogant voice reached everyone's ears, and everyone was taken aback. Who knows that this jade tripod is the legitimate descendant of a saint, yet still so arrogant? Everyone followed the sound in astonishment. 6. The 7 Immortals of Intercepted Education and the Immortal of Dingguang. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Everyone was taken aback, wanting to know who was so brave and dared to scold the sage disciple like this. A Taiyi golden immortal in the hall. And Yuding naturally also wanted to know that he had already suppressed the scene with the fruit of face, and who was causing trouble. However, in addition to curiosity, he also had some doubts. It seems that this voice has been heard before. Isn't it an old acquaintance? Amidst the bewildered gazes of anticipation, a figure appeared from the horizon, somewhat chubby, not tall, with a somewhat lewd appearance and a hint of evil energy flowing. Is it him? A hint of disgust appeared in Yuding's eyes. Surprisingly, it's this guy. This person is the character with the worst reputation and the most despised in the entire Fengshen movie. One of the 7 immortals who serve as the attendant of the Jijiao sect, the long-eared Dingguang immortal. In the process of teaching, although there are many rampant monsters, there are also many loyal and righteous disciples who care for their fellow disciples. Yuding has no prejudice against these loyal and righteous disciples who are dedicated to teaching. He just couldn't stand the arrogant disciples who relied on the reputation of the Qing dynasty to dominate. And this long-eared Dingguang immortal is the most domineering among these domineering disciples who cut off teachings. Although he is not a direct disciple of the head of the Tongtian sect, he is also one of the 7 immortals accompanying him and is highly trusted by Tongtian. On weekdays, he often relies on the reputation of intercepting the sect to commit crimes, cleverly taking and plundering, and tarnishing the reputation of the leader of the Tongtian sect. However, because he is the leader of the Heavenly Way Sage Tongtian sect behind him, and he himself is also a Taiyi golden immortal, many creatures have no way to deal with him. In theory, receiving the love and care of the heavens, one should expect to repay their master in the upper pure lineage. But this long-eared Dingguang immortal has a rebellious bone in the back of his head. At the critical moment of the life and death of Jijiao, he betrayed the trust of Tongtian and gave Jijiao a fatal blow, directly leading to the failure of the overall plan of the Tongtian sect leader and the downfall of Jijiao. Despite being a rabbit, he was able to be so ruthless and ungrateful. This long-eared immortal is truly shameless. If it weren't for trusting him, the leader of the Tongtian sect wouldn't have entrusted the final hope of the 6-soul banner to Chang'er Dingguang immortal for safekeeping. But this long-eared Dingguang immortal resolutely defected and stabbed his beloved master. Ignoring one's fellow disciples and being slaughtered to the end. The glorious decline of Jijiao in the reign of 10,000 immortals. Such an ungrateful and cunning villain is the most shameless of Yuding. Yuding, long time no see, don't come safe. The long-eared Dingguang immortal's somewhat sinister voice echoed on the mountain peak. Numerous creatures suddenly changed color. Compared to the low-key jade tripod, there are more people who know this arrogant and domineering long-eared Dingguang immortal. They had already recognized that the one who stepped sideways was actually this notorious but equally powerful disciple of the sage, accompanying one of the 7 immortals. Long-eared Dingguang immortal. Yuding spoke softly, her gaze filled with indifference. Do you also want to cross your leg and snatch this innate elixir from my hand? The long-eared Dingguang immortal chuckled, but his eyes were full of darkness. Senior brother Yuding was joking. The treasure in the wilderness is naturally inhabited by those who are capable. I am the one with the ability to fix the light with long ears. Today, encountering this innate elixir is my chance. This treasure, Hegai, is mine. For the jade tripod, the long-eared Dingguang Immortal has little fear. Although Yuding is the legitimate descendant of a saint, he is only a named disciple of the leader of the Tongtian sect. But he also had no fear of the Jade Cauldron. If it had been before, it would have been more troublesome. Now, the relationship between elucidation and truncation has reached a freezing point, and he naturally does not need to worry about any camaraderie. Moreover, he has not yet fought against Yuding. The last time they fought, Yuding was defeated by him. He naturally wouldn't be afraid of a defeated subordinate like Yuding. Okay, since you also want it, let's do it once. Yuding's gaze was cold, indifferent as he looked at the long-eared Dingguang Immortal. Just you. I got seriously injured when I hit you back then, forget who it was. Chang'er Dingguang Immortal sarcastically said, do you think that if you have been promoted to Taiyi Jinxian, you are my opponent? I'll let you taste the humiliation of the past today. Speaking, the aura of the long-eared Dingguang Immortal rose all over, and the fierce wind hunted and howled on the mountaintop. The terrifying aura of Taiyi Golden Immortal's mid-term is fully revealed, spreading throughout the fields. Everyone quickly retreated 1,000 miles, afraid of being affected by the remnants of the two Taiyi Golden Immortal fighting techniques. They naturally dare not intervene. These two are both Taiyi Golden Immortals and disciples of the Sages sect. They ate the bear's heart and leopard's gall, and dared not intervene in the struggle between these two. At the same time, the dazzling golden light slowly faded, and countless immortal energies escaped from the innate elixir. That innate elixir has already matured and emerged. On top of it, there are dots of radiance and a very spiritual charm. At a glance, it is clear that it is not an ordinary thing. Yuding, today I will send you another defeat. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal laughed heartily, and the supernatural energy dissipated. The surging magic power was like a tsunami. Then, a towering giant palm appeared in front of the Immortal's body with long ears and fixed light, striking down towards the Jade Cauldron with one palm. The jade tripod stands in the sky above the clouds, with big sleeves waving and indifferent eyes. Then, with the double finger pinch technique, a blue thunder suddenly descended. 7. Yuxu Glass Lamp, defeating the Immortal of Chang'er Dingguang. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Snicker. Above the blue thunder, the terrifying arc wanders. Lei Fa has always been the most powerful and destructive magical power. When Yuding makes a move, it possesses such a terrifying power. He never even thought about letting go of the long-eared Dingguang Immortal. New grudges and old grievances will be resolved together today. The blue thunder roared straight down from the clouds, the electric snake swam away, and the thunderous light surged. He directly struck on that towering palm. At that moment, thunder exploded and the sky was filled with a pale blue light. That towering giant palm has disappeared invisibly. But that thunderous roar still lingered, thinking that the long-eared Dingguang Immortal had swung towards it. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal didn't panic at all and suddenly shook his sleeves. Several layers of pure immortal energy emanated from his sleeve, spreading and entwining everywhere. At that moment, an invisible barrier had already formed in front of him. Even if a terrifying thunderbolt of grandeur falls on this invisible barrier, it will only merge with this barrier into a vast expanse of powder, swirling in all directions. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal narrowed his eyes, and a dangerous light surged between his eyes. Yuding, you have some skills. Then, the long-eared Dingguang Immortal waved his hand. A 3-inch triangular flag appeared, growing larger in the wind, about 10 feet tall. This is a pitch-black triangular flag, its color is pitch black, surrounded by countless fierce ghosts, and the mournful cries tear at everyone's eardrums. As soon as this flag is raised, the sky darkens and all ghosts cry together. This is the reliance of Chang'er Dingguang Immortal, and also his most sought-after treasure. Innate spiritual treasure, 100 ghost flags. Through the sacrifice of hundreds of ghosts and countless sacrifices of life and blood, we have come to this treasure that is extremely and evil, with infinite killing power. Seeing the 100 Ghost banner, the Jade Ding also directly offered his own slaying immortal sword. The refreshing sword light flashed away, and the vast immortal energy burst forth. The sword light was sharp and powerful, and it slashed towards the long-eared Dingguang Immortal. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal waved 100 ghost flags, and suddenly, all the ghosts cried together, and blood rained down one after another. The sky, which was originally clear for thousands of miles, was suddenly shrouded in countless dark clouds. The mournful cries of ghosts echoed in everyone's ears, making people tremble and shiver. The onlookers felt the terrifying aura, and their faces turned pale and pale. The extremely evil aura permeates the sky, and the figure of the long-eared Dingguang Immortal, against the backdrop of pitch-black clouds, makes one's heart tremble. "Jade Ding, today you will fall here." He shouted fiercely, and then countless fierce ghosts surged out of the 100 ghost flags. The fierce ghost is blocking the sky and sun, coming towards the Jade Cauldron to pounce. And the Jade Tripod swung its slaying immortal sword, and the mighty sword light was instantly cut out. Unfortunately, in front of these countless fierce ghosts, the clear sword light was quickly erased. Then, even more fierce ghosts came to kill them. The ethereal immortal aura on the slaying immortal sword is suppressed by the forest ghost aura. The onlookers almost stared their eyes out. If they face this terrifying power directly, they are afraid that they will be erased in an instant. After all, the realm of Chang'er Dingguang Immortal is even better. With the sword of slaying immortals, the Jade Ding finds it difficult to compete with Chang'er Dingguang Immortal holding 100 ghost flags. Someone looked at Yuding with worried eyes, thinking in their heart that this time it might not be Yuqing's disciple losing to Shangqing's disciple. The Jade Tripod slightly closed its eyes and slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. "Yuxu glass lamp, come out." With his voice falling, the light is shining. A jade-glazed lamp cuts through the void and shines for 9 days. Slowly emerging from the void. It is the head of the 3 lanterns of heaven, earth, and humanity, the Jade Void Glass Lantern. Chang'er Dingguang Immortal had also seen the Jade Void Glass Lamp, but he did not believe that Yuan Tianzuan would be willing to give such a heavy treasure to the Jade Ding. So he sneered, "Pretend to be a god and play tricks. Jade Ding, die for me." The Jade Tripod smiled indifferently, and the mighty magic poured into the Jade Virtual Glass Lamp, creating a brilliant light. That lamp, at this moment, is as bright as the sun of Wangyang, shining like the emperor. Town. The resolute and stern voice of Yuding fell, and suddenly, an unparalleled light emerged. Inside the Jade Void Glass Lamp, thousands of ancient spirits spray out. The golden flame licks the sky, distorting the void. Under the illumination of the Jade Void Glass Lamp, those gloomy and fierce ghosts let out mournful screams. The black mist around the long-eared Dingguang Immortal has become much lighter. Terror and pressure were immediately applied to the long-eared Dingguang Immortal. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal unexpectedly felt the supreme terror. Damn it! This is actually a real Jade Virtual Glass Lamp. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal's face changed greatly, but he still couldn't give up and wanted to make a final move. His robe sleeves sway, countless ghosts fly out and blend into the 100 ghost flags. The 100 ghost banners' pitch-black radiance reappears. Embrace the sky and hit the Jade Cauldron. But no matter how bright the Jade Void Glass Lamp shines, the brilliant light shines through the 9 skies. Countless fierce ghosts let out mournful screams under the radiance of this golden emperor, turning into powder and spreading throughout the world. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal's face changed greatly, and his eyes were filled with terror. He sensed the immense threat of the jade and glass lamp. At that moment, he couldn't care much anymore and got up and ran. When you come, you are domineering and flamboyant, but when you go, you run away in despair. Yuding looked at the fleeing figure of the long-eared Dingguang Immortal with indifferent eyes, and directly took the innate elixir into his palm. Sensing the pure and mysterious meaning of the Tao, the jade tripod smiled slightly and the treasure was in hand. Then, he also stepped straight on the clouds and left. 8. Guanjiangkou, The Calamity of Yaoji. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. On the other hand, the long-eared Dingguang Immortal erupted into a life of extreme speed, running wildly, afraid that the Jade Cauldron would chase him and not let him go. Running thousands of miles in one breath, the heart held by the long-eared Dingguang Immortal finally relaxed slightly. Hiding inside the cave, Chang'er Dingguang Immortal breathed a sigh of relief and looked around the cave, only to find a faint golden light deep inside. At that moment, his face lit up with joy, as if he had lost a congenital elixir, but had encountered a better opportunity. Subsequently, he directly cast his spell and saw clearly what was beneath the faint golden light. Innate spiritual treasure. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal looked at the innate spiritual treasure, with a fervent expression in his eyes. Alright. It's like heaven never dies. I'm the immortal of long ears and Dingguang. Chang'er Dingguang Immortal shouted excitedly, while at the same time, another treasure emitting a misty fairy light was also revealed. That is truly a martial arts book. The long-eared Dingguang Immortal couldn't wait to flip through the martial arts, and at this glance, he was completely stunned. After a long time, he regained his senses, swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and looked excited and crazy. This is actually a cultivation technique that directly points to the quasi-holy realm. Ha ha ha. My quasi-holy realm is expected. Yuding. When I become a quasi-saint, you must look good. The excited laughter of the long-eared Dingguang Immortal echoed inside the cave. He didn't notice that the technique in his hand emitted a faint golden light, which was completely different from the 3 cleansing 1 meridian technique. At the same time. Shitu, Daksumi Mountain. On Mount Dasumi, there is a palace that exudes an unusual and mysterious meaning amidst its antiquity. This is where the 2 saints of the Western Church reside. One of them, a short and chubby sage with a smile on his face, slowly opened his eyes and looked at the cave where the long-eared Dingguang Immortal was located. A faint smile appeared on his face. However, the smile was a bit chilly. The fish has taken the bait. The sound was very light, and the exit disappeared, as if afraid of leaking the news. After receiving the innate elixir, Yuding galloped towards the mouth of Guanjiang River. Soon, he stopped over the Guanjiangkou. Within the mouth of the Guanjiang River, there were sounds of fighting and the smell of explosions. Qi is surging fiercely, with gusts of strong winds. It's clear that someone is fighting. Yuding followed the aura of the fighting technique to find it. Sure enough, in front of a household, I saw a divine general wearing a golden armor fighting against a woman. The brilliant light of magical powers continues to explode. The divine general wearing a golden armor is naturally a person from the heavenly court. As for the woman, looking at her protecting the child behind her, there is no need to guess that she is the younger sister of the Jade Emperor. This is also the target of this divine general's trip, the Yaoji fairy who sneaks down the world and has an affair with mortals to have children. That Jin Jiatian general is powerful, and Yaoji is only in the realm of the Golden Immortal. She can even compete equally with that Jin Jiatian general. It seems that one cannot underestimate a mother who wants to protect her child. Yaoji waved her hand and pinched the formula, and her technique exploded, unexpectedly knocking back the Jin Jiatian general. However, blood oozed from the corners of her mouth, indicating that this blow had also caused a considerable burden on her. Yaoji fairy, you are not my opponent. Don't resist and return to the heavenly court with the last general. Yaoji wiped away the blood from the corner of her mouth and turned around to look at her own child, her gaze filled with endless longing. Even if I die, I will never go back to heaven with you. I won't let you take my child away. That would offend me. The member of Jin Jiatian snorted coldly, his breath skyrocketed, and he was truly in the realm of Taiyi Jin Xian. The terrifying aura rushed towards Yaoji. Yaoji never retreats or avoids, relying solely on the cultivation of the golden immortal to stand in a stalemate with that member of Jin Jiatian. Countless magical powers exploded at this moment. The dazzling light faded away, and Yaoji coughed up blood in her mouth. The Jin Jiatian general also retreated a little, making it difficult to make any progress. Yaoji is taking her own life to protect her children. Yuding sighed lightly. At the same time, a breath suddenly descended. Yuding suddenly looked up at the place where the breath came from. The melody of the Tao flies, and the aura of immortality lingers for thousands of miles. That is truly a great Luo golden immortal. The terrifying aura stirs the sky, and the clouds stagnate. Endless mist, all falling down. Chaos lingers in the sky one by one. The great Luo golden immortal exuded a palpitating aura all over its body. And he stands tall in the clouds, with a grand voice. Yaoji, why be so stubborn and stubborn? There is a difference between immortals and mortals, don't cling to it. Speaking, the great Luo golden immortal casually slapped him. The law is shattered, the void is shaken. This palm will directly suppress Yaoji. Yaoji tried her best to resist, but she couldn't resist either. As Yaoji was finally suppressed, the heavenly soldiers and generals breathed a sigh of relief. God, what about these few? That Jin Jiatian will look at the two little people behind Yaoji, one male and one female. These two people are naturally the two remaining children of Yaoji. One of them is Yang Jian. The other one is Yang Jian. Yang Jian is the disciple that Yuding will accept on this trip. You will bring me later, and I will escort Yaoji to meet His Majesty first. Yes. The great Luo golden immortal reached out and took a picture of Yaoji. Yaoji wanted to turn around and see her child, but she couldn't move at all. 9. The future three realms protector heavenly god. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mother. Mother. Surrounded by countless heavenly soldiers and generals, two small people looked at their mother who was being escorted away and cried bitterly. However, the sky was filled with heavenly soldiers and generals, but they only watched coldly, suppressing the two villains on the spot. Although they wanted to save their mother, they were firmly held in place by the heavenly soldiers. Mother. Yang Jian watched with tearful eyes as his mother was taken away by the powerful figure from the heavenly court. He clenched his fists and suddenly became firm in his heart. Mother. Little Yang Jian cried bitterly, tears streaming down her face. Today, she has lost her father and an elder brother, and now even her mother is leaving. Although she was young and naive, she also knew that her family seemed to be shattered from then on, and everything was difficult to go back to when it was. Mother. Mother. Little Yang Jian still wants to pounce and hug her mother who is far away. But with a wave of her hand, a heavenly soldier suppressed her small body directly on the ground, unable to move. What are you doing? Although Yang Jian was also young, when he saw his sister being bullied, he couldn't help but unleash a burst of strength from somewhere and forcefully pushed the soldier that day. Don't harm my sister. The little person protected her sister behind her, like a little tiger with its teeth and claws wide open. Unfortunately, this little tiger has no deterrent power in front of heavenly soldiers and generals. He is just a half-god of mixed race, just a young boy in his early teens, with no cultivation in him. They can easily strangle to death. If it weren't for bringing these two wicked beasts back to the heavenly court for duty, he would have easily wiped out these two little ones. Tianbing sneered and his palm casually fell down. With a splash. The young boy Yang Jian was overwhelmed by the boundless pressure of the mountain and knelt down on the ground. Brother, brother. Yang Jian was crying and shouting as tears blurred her vision. Chang'er, don't cry, brother is fine. Despite being suppressed by the heavenly army, Yang Jian still gritted his teeth to comfort Yang Jian. What a deep sibling love. The soldier sneered that day and was about to take action again. However, at this moment, an angry voice full of anger spread. Stop it. Immediately after, the divine light fell from the sky and directly sent this heavenly soldier flying out. With a loud bang, dust filled the air. That day, the soldier sprayed out a blood arrow and fell to the ground fiercely. Who? The soldier struggled to get up from the ground that day, his anger rising. Who dares to ambush me? The other heavenly soldiers were also instantly filled with fighting spirit, vigilantly looking around. It's this seat. As the voice fell, the figure of a jade tripod dressed in plain clothes became apparent, standing on the heavy clouds of the 9 heavens, with an indifferent gaze. Who are you? How dare you attack the heavenly soldier? Are you trying to obstruct the heavenly court's affairs? This heavenly soldier is not foolish either. Knowing that this person's attack has left him in a state of embarrassment, he is definitely not an easy person. Therefore, he directly moved out of the heavenly court's name and wanted to drink back this person. Heavenly court. Yuding smiled slightly without saying anything, but the disdain on his face was already evident. That day, the soldier angrily said, the heavenly court is the ruler of the 3 realms, and he will take charge of the flood and wilderness on behalf of the heavenly Tao. Don't mistake yourself. If you are enemies of our heavenly court, you are enemies of the great power of the heavenly way. You will surely be destroyed by the great power of our heavenly court. Yuding sneered, what a big temper. Those who didn't know thought that Haotian was a saint of the heavenly way. I don't know, I thought this wilderness belonged to his Haotian. Haotian, he is just managing the flood and wasteland for the Taoist ancestor, but he is not the master of the 3 realms, let alone the master of the flood and wasteland. You remember this clearly. Others may fear his vastness, fear your heavenly court. But this constellation, on the other hand, still doesn't appreciate you useless people. The voice of the jade tripod was cold and sharp. With a flick of the robe sleeve, the strong wind rose from the sky. The soldier was so scared that he dared not speak anymore. The other heavenly soldiers were also trembling and afraid to speak out. This person's tone is so loud, I believe he must have a big background. If it is truly a terrifying existence, then if they provoke this one, even if they are killed on the spot, there is no way. After all, they are just small heavenly soldiers, and the one in front of them doesn't even pay attention to His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor and the Heavenly Court. If you are not satisfied, you can come to Jinxia Cave on Yuquan Mountain and ask me about it. Yuquan Mountain Jinxia Cave. How familiar is it? It seems like I've heard of it somewhere before. The soldier frowned that day, carefully pondering his memories. This Jade Cauldron is a disciple of the sage of Yuanshe, who is the legitimate disciple of the sect. If you are not satisfied, just come and do it. The soldier widened his eyes that day and finally remembered that memory. On his first day as a heavenly soldier, the team leader had warned him. The disciples of the great sage sect must not be provoked. And Yuquan Mountain Jinxia Cave Yuding Immortal is one of the legitimate disciples who are highly favored by saints. Oh no, I've caused a huge disaster. For a moment, the cold air exploded from the tail vertebrae of the soldier that day, soaring straight into the sky. His mind was blank, he stood there and dared not move. Saints' teachings, personally passed down disciples. One of the 12 golden immortals of elucidation. This is really a huge background. 10. Disciple Yang Jian pays respects to the Master. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That day, the soldiers were all cold and frozen in place, afraid to move. Daozu is up. What exactly did he do just now? He actually provoked a disciple passed down by a saint. No wonder this person is so arrogant that even His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor and the Heavenly Court do not pay attention to him. The legitimate lineage of the sage naturally allows one to look down upon all the spirits in this vast wilderness. That's a disciple of the Heavenly Way sage. Even His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor must yield 3 points. After all, although it is nominally the heavenly court representing the heavenly way and governing the order of the wilderness. But the saints of the heavenly way are beyond order, and order is nothing but dust in front of them. As the personal disciples of saints, even if they trample on order, disrespect the heavenly court, or the heavenly emperor, Haotian has nothing to do. After all, one's strength is not as good as that of a person. Behind the great sage church stands the heavenly way sage. And the heavenly way sages are the supreme beings. Several heavenly way sages have divided the wasteland, and they are the true masters of this wasteland. His strength is slightly inferior, and Haotian, who failed to prove himself as a saint, is just a nominal heavenly emperor. He is only the nominal ruler of the three realms. The true direction of the flood and famine is determined by the sages. Unless the one in Zixiao Palace personally intervenes. The soldier was so scared that he trembled all over. I don't know if it's the arrival of an immortal, but the little immortal is impolite. That day, the soldier stumbled and finally said such a sentence. Yuding just snorted coldly and ignored the heavenly soldier, walking towards Yang Jian and Yang Jian. Ding, I found that I can be a disciple of my sect. The system prompt came just at this moment. Yuding nodded slightly and waved his hand, completely unleashing the sealing force exerted by the heavenly soldier on Yang Jian and Yang Jian. Later, his gaze fell on Yang Jian, examining the disciple who was destined to shake the world in the future. Although Yang Jian was young, his face was resolute, and his eyes showed a determined expression. A young boy over 10 years old, with a resolute face, protecting his sister. There is an indescribable and inexplicable meaning in his body. Moreover, when Yuding saw him at first glance, he felt an incomparable warmth. He is truly a destined disciple. Undoubtedly, he is the vanguard official of Fengshen Liangjie Shiqi. Undoubtedly, he is the future guardian deity. Although young, they are already different from ordinary people. There is also a mysterious aura surrounding the body. This son will surely achieve some success in the future. Yang Jian's spiritual eyes stared at Yuding. Although he was afraid, he still had the courage of the ancient tribe to protect his sister and asked Yuding, "Who are you? Are you also with them, trying to catch us?" Yuding smiled slightly and said in a warm voice, "Of course not. I am the legitimate disciple of the Heavenly Master, the founder of Taoism. I came here today to accept you as my disciple." "Me?" Yang Jian pointed at himself in disbelief and asked in reverse. Yuding nodded slightly and said, "Not bad, it's you." Upon hearing these words, the surrounding heavenly soldiers and generals couldn't help but be taken aback. Accepting apprentices. Yuding wants to take Yang Jian as his disciple. You should know that Yuding is the legitimate disciple of Yuanshi Tianzuan. If Yang Jian were to join his sect, wouldn't he be the legitimate disciple of Yuanshi Tianzun? The legitimate disciple of the Chan sect. How noble it is to be the legitimate heir of a saint. Suddenly, the little guy in front of them, who was of mixed race between humans and gods, surpassed them all at once. These heavenly soldiers and generals instantly feel a chill on their backs. Not to mention anything else, as long as Yang Jian becomes a disciple of the Chan sect, he will be a legitimate descendant of a sage. This identity suddenly surpassed them. At that time, even if they rely on their identity to suppress them, they will all suffer. Moreover, Yuanshi Tianzun is the saint who protects the calf the most in the wilderness. If he were to know that these people had once caused his grandson's family to be destroyed by the will of the heavenly emperor. Although saints may not necessarily cause trouble for the heavenly emperor, they will definitely retaliate against these insignificant little characters. With just one thought, the sage can erase these ants. Even if the saints don't act, they already feel scared. It should be noted that the discipline of accepting apprentices through preaching has always been very strict, and one cannot do without good fortune, talent, footwork, and luck. This kid can be valued by the teachings and accepted as a disciple. If you grow up in the future, you will be a powerful force in the wilderness. It's not easy to retaliate against them. Yang Jian, however, was somewhat confused. Elucidation. Apprenticeship. Is elucidation more powerful than the heavenly court? Can you save my mother? Yuding laughed heartily, touched Yang Jian's head, and said with a smile, it's just a heavenly court. How can it compare to Zhanjiao? In the face of my preaching, the heavenly court dare not be reckless. As for rescuing your mother, Yuding paused before saying, for me, this matter is not difficult. For my master, it is even more of a small matter. Your mother will definitely be fine. I can save your mother, but wouldn't it be better if you could save her with your own hands when you have learned something under my tutelage? Although Yang Jian is young, he is much smarter than his ordinary companions, and sometimes he is not as intelligent and mature as a child in his early teens. Therefore, Yuding's words are naturally understandable to him. Upon hearing this, he didn't hesitate at all and walked forward, knocking his head. Disciple Yang Jian, pay respects to master.